So here's a tutorial on how to create our music books that we give to our teachers and our students. Everything is done through Adobe Acrobat. Our duplicating department works directly from printing PDF files that we give to them. So everything is done in Adobe Acrobat in order to create those PDF files. I've started here with a template, and you can see that the book I'm working on is Essential Orchestra Edition C2 for our elementary students. And so what I've done is the template here. There's a number of different ways you could do this, but this is the way I found works for me. And if it works for you, that's great. Just want to pass along the information here. So this template includes all the components, all the parts, everything for the whole book. So here's like the string template, and I've got, you can see the 4 covers for the 4 different string books: violin, viola, cello, and bass. Actually, for elementary, we just do violin, cello, and bass. But then what's done is, bringing in the different elements into the PDF document. So you just can copy and drag any PDF file into the template here, and it'll add it to the pages here. So it starts off with string ensemble warm-ups. I like to include a blank page. It's just sort of a temporary marker to visually, separate the different components. I'll erase that before the book gets finalized, but it just helps to be able to see that, okay, here's the warm-ups, and then there's a little divider here, and then major scales for orchestra, the bowing warm-ups and that kind of thing. The books usually start off with exercises and rhythms, worksheets and things like that. Then it gets into the actual music. You might find that some of the books, they use the same warm-ups, from one book to the next. And so it's helpful to just copy the warm-ups and drag them into the PDF document from a previous edition here. So I'm going to be creating the base book now. So what I'll do is I've got this string template, and I'm going to save this as the base book. So you'll choose the file location where you want to save it. I'm going to rename this to the base Essential Orchestra Edition. I've already got one created, so it's going to ask me if I want to resave it, and I will say yes. So then at this point, I'm going to delete all the pages that do not pertain to the base book. So I'll leave the base cover, but delete the other covers. And then for the string ensemble warm-ups, page 1, essentially, I'll delete everything that's not a base page. So page 4 here is the base page, so I'll delete everything other than page 4, and then so on and so forth to create all the base pages, the base book. So at this point, I've deleted all the pages other than the base pages. So the only thing remaining are the pages that I want to have appear in the base book, with the exception of all these white blank divider pages. So a little pro tip here with using Adobe Acrobat: if you go to View, Page Display, Two-Page Scrolling, you can see that the page spreads. So as a student opens up the book, this is what they would see. You want to make sure that you have the option that I'm going to show you here now, show cover page in 2-page view. So that means like you've got the cover, and then you open up the book, and then you see all these, then you see your pages. So what I'm going to do now is delete the blank pages and make sure that everything appears the way I want it to in the final book. So I'm deleting all these blank pages. So I've deleted most of the blank pages here, scrolling through to make sure everything appears the way I want it, and making sure all the pages are there, that it's not missing any of the components. One thing to keep in mind, so like this song Centennial here, it's a 2-page song, and it's a 2-page selection, and it's nice when a student opens up the book and can see both pages on their music stand in one spread here. So I'm deleting the blank page before and after that, so that it just appears as a one page, as a two-page spread on the student's music stand. You can do that by adding a blank page beforehand, if you need to, so that the first page is on the left-hand side of the music stand. And then it's nice to have the fingering charts in the back. Our elementary teachers like to have two different fingering charts. So there's a chromatic fingering chart, and there's what we think of as the Stan Holcomb fingering chart. And I'm going to move this blank page here. So now the document is basically complete. It's nice to have a blank page at the end to make sure that the back cover is blank, that there's not music or a fingering chart or anything on the back cover of the book. So now the book is basically complete. The next step is to print it as a PDF, which seems redundant, but after working with our duplicating department, we found that reprinting the book as a PDF helps to make sure that any of the components on the PDF get included in the book. If you've got markups, if you've got headers or footers, there's graphics that we use for marking the audition spots and that kind of thing. Just reprinting the book as a PDF is kind of the system that we found that works best. So in the printer, instead of choosing the printer, you're going to choose Adobe PDF, and we'll do all pages. I found that we want to use actual size rather than fit, because fit will actually change the size of the music and what's in the content of the pages. So actual size will make it work. And then click print, and then it'll ask you where you want to save your file. And then here we've got the books. So I'm going to say number 11. And that the number at the beginning there just ensures that everything appears in score order on your file list here. So now it's reprinting the book as a new PDF file. So here's the new file that Adobe has printed. So this is the base book as it should appear, and we can see that all the elements are here correctly. I'm going to go to two-page scrolling and just make sure that the book looks the way that we want and all the components are there and everything's in order. Then the next step is to actually print a sample of the book. The duplicating department likes to have a sample printed for them, and they are very good at looking through the book and making sure that what they print matches what the sample that you've given them. I've been very surprised and very impressed in the past when something was missing from one of the books, one of the samples, and they'll call up and they'll say, hey, your sample has this in it, but when I'm printing the book, it doesn't include it in there. So things like these audition brackets and QR codes and headers and footers and that kind of thing, those kind of things might be missing, or you might be missing pages or something like that. So they're good about catching that. So we print a sample of the book. So I'm going to print it to our department printer here. And so properties, finishing, I want two-sided pages. I want to have a staple on the left-hand side and like that. And so now it's going to print the whole book, and it's going to print a sample of the whole book. And then once you've printed all those books, you're ready to go.